Welcome, I'm Kinetic Symphony. This is Dave. I hunt down and report on weird and true mysterious stories, from glitches to the supernatural. Case file number 1677, written by Chainsawfists. Time loop journey, a hiker's odyssey. In college, I frequented a trail in the Appalachian Mountains near my college. Each time I would trek further and further. I never saw anyone else on it, no matter how good the weather was, so I just saw it as my own personal trail. For a while, I would walk to a large stream and turn back, since it was wide and deep, and I didn't want to get my boots soaking wet. One day, I was determined to cross the stream, so I moved several planks of sturdy dead tree to make a makeshift bridge. I crossed to the other side, and everything felt subtly different. The air was different, the sky was brighter, and surprisingly, the trail on the other side was better maintained than the part I had come from. As I kept walking, I noticed a lot of old soda cans lying around, the ones that are more perfectly cylindrical. Google old soda cans for reference, and wasn't seeing any of the modern looking soda can designs. I passed by an old cabin. It looked occupied, so I didn't bother investigating and went along my way. I kept walking until I got to a wider, deeper stream. I wouldn't be able to make a bridge across it. I turned around and headed back. I distinctly remember the sky turning overcast within a matter of minutes. I couldn't clearly see the sky since the trees blocked a lot of my view. I had just assumed a cloud had passed across the sun, but when I got a better look, the sky was completely different. It felt like I was walking along a completely different trail. This is the craziest part. I looked over to where the cabin had been, to find nothing but the remains of the cabin. All that was left was the stone chimney. I had walked by the cabin about an hour back, but there weren't any ashes, no smoke. There was a thick layer of fallen leaves and even some litter. Modern litter, like beer bottles and cans with modern logos. I was dumbfounded and explored the cabin's remains for a good hour until it started to drizzle. I walked back along the trail. The old soda cans were gone. I couldn't see the logs further down the stream. The rest of the trail was just as I had remembered it. I walked the last mile or so of the trail in darkness and rain, guided by my phone, which never could get reception up in the mountains. So that's my weird time-traveling story. I've made a point of wanting to go back to my college town, so I could revisit the trail and see what was on the other side of the second big stream. If anyone lives nearby, the coordinates to the trailhead are around 36.145-937-81.703719. You can park in the rest stop. Case file 1677. The Time Loop Journey, a hiker's odyssey. Isn't it curious how the catalyst for traveling in the past, so-called, was crossing a bridge? It's like the bridge to Terabithia, but the bridge I think was real. I think the act of crossing was a subconscious trigger for you, and your mind, your soul went into the past, and saw things as it was over there, maybe in a different universe's past, but that's not too relevant. All that really matters is, I think, for you, if someone had come across you in that moment, in the real present time, they probably would have just seen you there, almost like in a coma or seizure. It's actually almost like the scene in Stranger Things where, I think it was Chrissy, her name? She has a moment where she's in a vision of sorts. But then some other guy comes across her and she's just, her eyes are rolled back and she's not there. Her spirit is somewhere else. And that's where we are here. I think your spirit was on a grand journey across the river of time. Case file number 1678, written by Space Prince 4. The Mystery of the Changing Histology Plate. One of my classes this semester is Histology, which means I have lab periods where we look at and analyze plates of different human tissues. One day while doing so, I picked one up and noticed that it didn't look anything like to what the guide was saying. I was supposed to be looking at blood cells, small pink orbs, yet mine was a straight black line with dentrals going off to the side. I vividly remember chuckling and saying to myself, this one is just a straight line. I was confused, so I asked one of my professors to come over and look at it. He asked me which one it was. I told him it was the blood cells. I have no idea how, but when I looked it over while he focused on it, it changed. Now it was clearly blood cells, small pink orbs. Somehow, this plate changed both structure and tint in the blink of an eye. He didn't change the plate at all and was amused that I couldn't recognize the structure at first glance. I asked everyone in my group afterwards if they had seen that plate, but none of them had. None of the teachers had seen one by that description either. I really wish I had taken a picture of it before it changed, but all I have is a drawing I made from memory right after it happened. The closest thing I can think that it was reticular fibers, but even then, the cut itself was strange. Everything about it was strange. It felt like I saw something I wasn't meant to before the universe fixed it. Chainsawfists 1678. The Mystery of the Changing Histology Plate. Okay, so this vision, essentially, that you saw, something that wasn't there, but that you did see, reticular fibers, they are the highway for immune cells. So does this vision of seeing something that looks like reticular fibers in a petri dish, does that mean that you're going to face some sort of health concern in the future? Is it a warning against taking better care of yourself to boost your immune system? That might be a stretch, but it seems like it wouldn't be random. Maybe a guardian angel event where they made you see something to help you down the road? Case file number 1679, written by weenerss. The Sudsy Time Warp. I have a story that is pretty creepy, at least for me. Back when I was in high school, me and a couple friends had just gotten back to my house from a party, and it was very late, around 2 a.m. As we were all about to go to sleep, I decided to take a quick shower because I had a lot of beer spilled all over my shirt by a drunk girl, and I also smelled like a pile of cigarette butts. I'm not the kind of guy to just hop in bed after a night of filthy debauchery, even if I'm super drunk. So as my buddies turned on Family Guy to watch as they fell asleep, I hopped into the shower. Normal shower cleaning commenced as planned, and because my friends are the kind of people that watch television obnoxiously loud, and the bathroom and shower being very close to the television, I could kind of hear the episode of Family Guy from inside the shower. So after taking what seemed like a 15-minute shower, with what sounded like the same episode of Family Guy slightly playing in the background, I hopped out and dried off. Upon exiting the windowless bathroom, I looked out into the room and realized it was now daytime. The clock read 10 a.m. Somehow, I had just gone 8 hours in the shower. What doesn't add up is that the water never got cold, and I never heard the Family Guy episode end, and most importantly, I know for a fact that I was only in that shower for 10 to 15 minutes. To this day, no one believes me, and we affectionately refer to the event as Shower Time Machine. Chainsawfists 1679, the Sudsy Time Warp. Given the hot water never ran out, and the Family Guy episode was playing the same as normal, never repeating or going to a different one, whatever happened to you, if this was a time event, it happened after you exited the shower. Now, I don't think it could be a space-time portal. That seems so random and specific. Maybe we shouldn't discount that. On the other hand, maybe you just fell asleep. But thinking about it, I mean, if you were so tired or wasted that you just passed out, it seems like you would have fallen down and damaged your body in some way, maybe hit your head. Is it just a space-time vortex, space-time portal that randomly appeared in your bathroom? Very uncommon, if that's the case. Or is it just a case of being very tired? I've never been that tired where I just lose memory, sort of. I have fallen asleep where, where you're so tired, you go to lie down in your bed, you almost blink, and then you're already awake 8 hours past. Being that tired is something else. I mean, there's only those two options as far as I can see it. A space-time portal, or you just fell asleep. And now time for the quote of the day. Dr. Weir. The ship doesn't really go faster than light. What it does is create a dimensional gateway that allows it to jump instantaneously from one point in the universe to another, light years away. From the movie Event Horizon. So imagine having that technology. I've been thinking about this a lot because I'm a sci-fi nerd. I mean, there's almost certainly another level or dimensional realm that transcends this universe. The common analogy is you have a piece of paper, you fold it in half, and then you punch a hole through it, and that's a wormhole. The space between the pages is this membrane that is called a wormhole, but what is it really? It's traveling to a higher dimensional realm where the physical vectors are more constrained. So you might travel 10 kilometers there, and that translates to 10 light years out here in the real world. our dimensional realm. But because time is woven into the fabric of space-time, if you do that, you can essentially travel to the future or to the past, which can cause a lot of problems. It's so annoying that time is not universal. I really wish it was, because traveling faster than light probably isn't possible. Although, maybe, even if we can't travel faster than light, wormholes could still be extremely good. Maybe they are limited in range to prevent us from traveling faster than light, but would still use less energy to do it. So it could still be functionally useful, potentially. Same with warp drives and stuff like that. I don't know, we'll see. I really hope so. There was a news article apparently where warp drives are theoretically possible without needing negative energy, which is how they were theorized before, which that doesn't exist as far as we know. So technically possible, but with stuff we can't, that doesn't exist. So not really. But if you can, through extreme geometry, create a warp field without this negative energy, maybe that is a way to just use electricity, like a atomic reactor in a ship. And then with that, you have almost unlimited energy. Even though you can't go faster than light, you could still go pretty fast. I mean, right now, we can't even go 0.1% the speed of light with our chemical rockets. So if you could bump that up to 10%, 50%, that is massive. And with that, that's enough to go visit neighboring solar systems within our own lifetimes. If we do travel through a wormhole, I hope it's not in the Geller realm, which is basically hell, in Event Horizon or Warhammer 40k, which I think is just a prequel. Event Horizon being the prequel to 40k. Okay, too much of a ramble. Like the video, subscribe, hit the bell. Kinetic Symphony signing off.